So Cody Early atop the charts here in Houston Guttering time trials. As Kendrick Hicks now out on the track in his 64 machine. The 64 of Kendrick Hicks from Willard, Kentucky. Econo-Cool, Shane Bailey Racing, Bernie Racing Solutions, Michael Boggs Photography, AC Custom Graphics.
And you're just joining us right now. Cody Early still has the quickest time with a 12.57 as we get a look there at the 11 of Evan Hinkle. Hinkle joining us from Barberville, Kentucky with Smith's Guttering and Siding. Keltner's Contracting, Smith Sealing, Newton Cattle Farms, that Longhorn Chassis and Hendren Race Engine. Looking for his first top 5 of the season. He's got some top 10s.
As Kendrick Hicks will knock Cody Early off that pole position, a 12:47. Evan Hinkle 6th fastest with a 12:70. Third driver of the group's that 71 of John Hine. John Hine coming from St. Louis, Missouri. Bass Pro Shops, Extreme eSpeed TV, Gambler Motorsports. That's a rocket chassis and a Durham race engine.
So Hicks jumps to the top and by a good margin is our fastest time. 12.47, better than a 12.57 Cody Early put down.
It's Hine currently 12th fastest with 12 drivers down, a half a dozen to go coming up next. As John Hine will pull on in, we'll have our next group of 3. Looks like Hayden Swaney and Colin Boyle is going to be a part of that group, including that one machine.
Yep, Colin Boyles joining us from Decatur, Illinois with Trimby & Sons Concrete. Building Systems of Illinois, solo homecoming here. Rich DPC, Vortex Wraps, and Logitech with that Longhorn Chassis and Vidkill race engine. He's got 2 top 5s in his time here in the Pro Late Moderate Series.
Hayden Swaney out there as well, another rookie from Chatsworth, Georgia. Dylan Perry Racing, Chip Banger Racing, Twisted Race Engines, Dirt Chasers Media on that CVR race car, Twisted Performance Engine. Has won top 10 in 7 starts here this season. Colin Boyles will jump up to 4th fastest at 12:62. Hayden Swaney 7th fastest, now 5th fastest at 12:62.
So still some of our heavy hitters to get out there, but it really looks like it's anyone's race.
As right now, it's going to be the 22 of Brandon Bender making an attempt. He's an original driver from Minfield, Ohio. B&B Bates, Combs Cuts, Rocket Chassis, Clements Race Engine. He's got 19 top 5s, 55 top 10s, and 76 starts.
So a little bit of movement there as you see Brandon Combs out there. Before we introduce Combs, look at Bender jumping up to 2nd with the 12.56, but we also have Brandon Combs out there, one of our OG drivers from Cincinnati, Ohio, with that Super Dirt Car Series, Chip Bangers Racing, B&B Custom Baits, that Big Pimpin' race car by Perry Chassis, and Phantom Race Engine. He's got 5 wins in this series, looking for another one tonight.
And now it's going to be our back-to-back champion, Dylan Perry, and that P7 machine from Ringgold, Georgia, Evans Air Conditioning, Extreme eSpeed TV, Piercefield Media Group, CVR Race Cars, Rapid Race Graphics, Lickum and Stickum Signs and Designs, Harrison Automotive. It's a CVR race car with a Phantom engine. He is our leader in most wins in series history, most top 10s, or most top 5s as well. Also out on the tracks, that's 69.
That's right, 69 of Aiden Young out there from Dalton, New Hampshire with Young Gun Creations, the Farmyard Store, and Gambler Motorsports, and that Longhorn Chassis and RPM Racing Engine looking to get win number 2 at some point this season. Why not tonight? In Illinois, and Perry rockets up, ties the time of Bender, both with a 12.56, and Young leapfrogs into the top 10 with a 12.63.
So the last group of drivers will shake it up, but it will be Kendrick Hicks, your fast time here in Houston Guttering Time Trials from Fairbury Speedway. As just like that, we will come to a close here. We will get ready for tonight's carrier heat races coming up next. 18 cars here ready to take on Fairbury Speedway, 100 laps, as we will wait for race operations to get everything set and sorted for those carrier heat races. Beautiful night here from Fairbury. Great crowd as always here. Of course, little brother Andy with the camera work. Shout out to some of our most loyal fans. You've got Troy down in Pensacola, Florida. You've got the Cool Ray Reaper watching from Memphis, Tennessee. And with that, we're going to move on to carrier heat race number 1.
That's right, carrier heat race number 1 of the night. They actually get started with Kendrick Hicks and Cody Early on the front row. Sandwiched between the rest will be Colin Boyles and Brandon Marlowe, with Jason Crow and Tyler Bowman rounding out row 3.
Eight laps in carrier heat race number 1. As they come out of turn number 4, green flag will wave. Carrier heat race number 1 underway. 8 laps. It's Hicks and Early, that front row. Marlowe, Voiles will go quickly 2 wide as they battle for that 3rd spot. So Kendrick Hicks leaves. Great battle behind him from second on back. You can see it's 3 wide there. Bowman, Voiles, and Crow continuing to do battle. Remember, this will help set the field. So with 3 carrier heat races, each position sets you up 3 spots closer to the front, which we saw at Bristol. That was important, which with this tight little bull ring we're at tonight could become another premium passing night again here tonight for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Hicks running away with this one with 2 laps to go this time by.
That's right, but liking that side-by-side action with Bowman and Crow. And they're both just trying to really battle for second, like you said, with quick lap times. We're quickly approaching, and there we go with the white flag. So just a few matter of moments, we'll have carrier heat race number 1 locked up. And just like that, Kendrick Hicks eases himself into carrier heat race number 1 with Bowman, Crow, Marlowe, Early, and Voiles rounding it out.
So carrier heat race number 1 comes to a close. We'll move on.
That's right, carrier heat race number 2. We'll start with Brendan Bender up top and Brandon Combs. A couple of Brandons on the front row. And between them and the rest will be Hayden Swaney, Tyler Benefield, and Kenny Haight, DC Smith in row 3.
So 2 by 2, they'll get lined up here. 8 more laps in this next carrier heat race here. See the great crowd down the front stretch.
Continuing to file in right now as the sun slowly sets.
So 2 by 2 they'll go. Out of turn number 4, the green flag will wave. Brandon Bender, Brandon Combs. Two guys we've seen race up front. Really the last calendar year, very competitive in the series. You can see Swanee and Haight make some contact back in the pack. It's going to be Bender leading lap number 1.
That's right. A little bit more of a competitive start. Not a complete runaway for the leader. Well, it looks like a couple of them trail off. Not going to bring out the caution though, but not a good start for Swanee and DC Smith. As really it's a little bit of follow the leader with Bender, Combs, and Haight running 1, 2, 3. Sizable distance behind there, but you gotta feel all right if you're Kenny Haight up 2 spots from where you started. Much at the expense of Hayden, though.
So Bender still trying to hold on in front of Combs. Really seeing that outside line, the preferred line there, middle of the track. As this one has gotten stretched out halfway here, coming to 3 laps to go. We'll see if Combs or Haight's able to make a move, as out front it's still Brandon Bender by half a second.
Bender holding tight, looking very colorful. I'm liking that scheme. One of my favorites we've seen in a while. It certainly catches your eye, and I may be a little biased towards that logo on the front there.
White flag will wave for Bender. As he makes his way around, he has this one under control, stretching that lead out to 3/4 of a second. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be the 22 Carrier Heat Race number 2's Brandon Bender. Combs second, Haight third, Benefield, DC Smith, and Hayden Swanee, your 6-car results. And that will move us on to our third and final Carrier Heat Race.
Oh yeah, Carrier Heat Race number 3 will be led by Dylan Perry, the back-to-back champ, side by side with Jacob Laster, who's having a heck of a season so far. Behind them, Aiden Young came close last week with Evan Hinkle by his side, and behind them, Joshua Johnson and John Hine.
So Dylan Perry, Jacob Lassiter, 2 drivers that have done a lot. So Dylan Perry starting on the pole here. Winner of this one will start inside row number 2 in tonight's 100-lap feature event. So Dylan Perry will take the green flag. Carrier Heat Race number 3 underway. As they're battling from second on back, as we've seen in the other Carrier Heat Races here tonight. Side by side for the lead. Lassiter looking to the inside of Dylan Perry.
One of our best battles we've seen.
As they continue to work here, you can see Inkle slid into that 3rd spot. John Hine, Aiden Young battling behind them. After this. So Dylan Perry holding on to that lead here. A tight lead at that. It's 0.3 of a second over Jacob Lassiter. Evan Hinkle still in third. John Hines now into that fourth spot, up 2 spots from his starting spot. Coming to 2 laps to go this time by. As the white flag will wave for that P7 machine of Dylan Perry. He's been able to set a gap now on Lassiter, as now Hinkle will actually move past Lassiter coming out of turn number 2. He'll try to come home second in this one. As coming out of turn number 4, it's Dylan Perry, your winner. Evan Hinkle second. Jacob Lassiter third. John Hine in the 4th position. And with that, our carrier heat races come to a close. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have our feature event pre-race festivities here from Fairbury. You're watching the Pro Late Model Dirt Series here on Extreme eSpeed TV.
Dyer Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
This is the premier podcast for late model dirt track racing. This is Forward Bite, hosted by superfan and actual know-it-all Kyle Armstrong on the Speed Sport Podcast Network.
Welcome back to another edition of the Forward Bite Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Armstrong.
Welcome back to Fairbury Speedway as we get ready for tonight's feature of at 100 laps here at Fairbury Speedway. We'll throw it down to the public address announcer for tonight's national anthem. And with that, we'll take one more quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have tonight's starting lineup from Fairbury as it's the Illinois Dirt Classic presented by Combs Cuts.
Introducing the latest technology in the racing industry, SpringRithm. SpringRithm is an app that can replace a spring smasher, giving you access to the same information the fast guys are using to stay ahead. The app tells you where to set your coilover nuts to hit your install loads and tells you the dynamic loads that the car will see in travel. It also simplifies adjustments at the track, giving you the information needed to adjust loads without taking the shock off the car. SpringRithm has been rigorously tested to ensure accuracy. There's no excuse to not be using SpringRithm.
This is the premier podcast for late model dirt track racing. This is Forward Bite, hosted by superfan and actual know-it-all Kyle Armstrong on the Speed Sport Podcast Network.
Welcome back to another edition of the Forward Bite Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Armstrong.
Speedways. It's the Illinois Dirt Classic here on Extreme eSpeed TV, and it is time for that feature event. And Adam, you've got our starting lineup.
Yes, I do. It's going to be Kendrick Hicks and Brandon Bender in row 1. Behind them, our defending champ Dylan Perry and Tyler Bowman. Row 3, Brandon Combs and Evan Hinkle. Row 4, Jason Crow and Kenny Haight. Row 5, Jacob Laster and Brandon Marlowe. Row 6, Tyler Benefield and John Hine. Now behind them, you will see in row, I believe, 7, Cody Early and DC Smith. Row 8, Joshua Johnson and Colin Boyles. And row 9, Hayden Swaney and Aiden Young.
And that is our field for tonight's feature event. As we mentioned, 100 laps around this Fairbury Speedway. As they'll go 4 wide for the salute to the fans here and to the fans tuning in here on Extreme eSpeed TV tonight. As it's going to be a beautiful night of racing here. Before we take off the month of April, Adam, we'll be back in May. As the pace truck will pull off, we'll get ready to go 2 by 2 here. Kendrick Hicks, Brandon Bender, your front row. Green flag waves, Kendrick Hicks and Bender go off into the corner. You see Dylan Perry down there to the inside. That's where we've normally seen him, especially these longer races. He'll go down to the bottom before anybody else and before it's in style. As very quickly, we're 3 wide throughout the field. Kendrick Hicks continues the lead. You can see Dylan Perry along with Brandon Combs behind him making that inside line work, Adam, as they'll move to the inside of Brandon Bender for second.
That's right, and you're going to notice tonight that tire wear. That's kind of an over talked about theme. That's something that's already, we know it's going to be in play no matter what track we're at. But this is such a short track. It's going to get to the point, especially if Hicks and Perry really set the pace, that if we stay green, I mean, we're talking into maybe lap 20 to 30. You're going to see lap traffic play a factor, and that might be what leads us to caution, right? Different tire wears, different guys pushing at different rates. So, I mean, we're already 5% through this race, and it feels like it just started, but not too much movement right now. Looks like we have Dylan Perry up 1 spot. We don't have any hard chargers. We've got Kenny, looks like Kenny Haight down 4 spots. So, still these guys, you can clearly see just trying to get settled in.
So you can see this battle for second. The lap times are slower than we saw earlier in the evening, which that's probably the tire conservation mode for some of these drivers, as most of us are in the most of them are in the 13-second range. And you can see Dylan Perry a couple laps ago kind of let off as he was really pressing it down on that inside line. As now he'll settle in, he'll just ride along Brandon Bender, and you can see it throughout the field as we've got some great battles back in the field here. Lassiter to the inside of Marlowe as line will work around that 51 to the outside.
That's right. You see, it's not too slick yet. You're actually seeing a lot more dirt kick up, really dust clouds, I guess you could kind of describe in some of these turns, where it's not completely slick to the point where I think these drivers are comfortable and feel confident. So I think we're going to see different grooves being driven in tonight. And so right now Hicks is holding strong, and Hicks riding some momentum, having some good success so far early in his first full year here with the series in 2024. As you see Benefield get by Laster for 10th place. Laster takes it right back. So there's some action in the middle of the pack there. But for the most part, I'd say I'm not sure how hard they're pressing. But it's not, completely to the wall right now. When you get to the later parts of the race, that's when you get a little bit of the wrench reaper. That's where things really come in and attack, really out of nowhere. And so I'd say I'm feeling like if you're going to get a wrench reaper type thing, it's going to be around lap 70, let's say.
As you can see, 3 wide there for a moment. Cody Early settling in the 11th spot. Up front, though, it's Kendrick Hicks. Currently greater than a half-second lead over Bender as they will make their way around. And Adam, this small Fairbury Speedway, you can already see that leader is catching up to the tail end of the field. 15 laps green here to start this one, and lap traffic could come into play very, very soon.
That is right, and it's already, you can see the tail end of the field. When you see it in your screen, you know it's coming. Sometimes you get news that you don't expect coming, and we got one of our, I know we got some viewers tuning in right now. One of them not doing too well, but we're sending thoughts to you, Joey, and we know you're going to reap the rewards of your recovery.
Out front, still Hicks there. As you can see, Hayden Swanee up ahead at the tail end of the field. Joshua Johnson. You know what happens normally, Adam, once that leader shows up tail end of the field, those cars start trying to move up towards the front, and it can make for some interesting battles. As just up ahead, Colin Boyles was out wide. He was 3 wide for a moment. He'll get it back out there running the high line here.
Yeah, you're seeing some of those guys almost kind of touch the wall. We saw, I think it was Aiden Young even in practice. He hit the wall pretty hard. Trying to find where he's at. It looks like Aiden Young's 13th right now. He's up 5 from where he started, so the damage doesn't seem too bad. Your other hard charger is in let's see here, John Hine, it looks like. Yeah, up to 7th. Good for him.
Good run for him here. As you know, this is a very dynamic track. It's very hard to get comfortable. Where just out of the blue, you could get whacked right out of the way, lose control of your car, lose your position. Big group of cars here. Out front, it's still Kendrick Hicks. As you can see, Combs pressing, and this is what we see here now. 24 laps into this, you've got Combs pressing it even harder than everybody else. He'll take over the lead out to that outside line, which we saw Voiles running, as now Hicks will fall back to 3rd. Dylan Perry goes around him. Swanee will go a lap down.
For DC Smith right now, my goodness, it's almost like it's like a pack they're rolling, almost if you're at a super speedway. This is the leadership pack, and some guys getting loose around there.
So now this battle for the lead has heated up. You can see the 3 cars behind him. One of them a lap car is Bender and Hicks, but do battle for 2nd. You've got Combs and Perry trying to weave their way through traffic here, as we're 28 laps in this time by. I will say Combs, Bender, Dylan Perry running some of the fastest laps on the track. You see DC Smith have issues there in turn number 2. He'll keep it going straight. As we have 2 cars a lap down. That's Smith and Swanee down there in 17 and 18.
And surprisingly, they're coming for Laster. That's not a driver I often expect to see getting lapped, but that just goes and tells you the conditions these guys are working under.
As it's still Brandon Combs out front. leads Dylan Perry. You can see Dylan Perry's falling back. He's about a second back now. As we're about a third of the way through this one, all green here so far at Fairbury Speedway. 18 cars, really talks about the talent that we have in this series. And as you can see, coming up to more cars up here, including Jacob Lassiter in the 16th spot, as these cars are going to want to get a move on it here as they've got a gaggle of cars up ahead.
Oh, and they're gurgling, and it is insane how wide they're fanning out right now, and then they're able to, when you get to kind of the straightaway, if that's what you want to call it, just how well they're able to form back together and gel. But I'll tell you what, as those tires wear, as guys get a little more frustrated, because I'll tell you what, we're 35 laps in right now of green flag run. You don't think these guys could use a little water break with the caution? I don't know. So it's, man, Lassiter, you saw him get past, and right now he's just trying to stay with the main group. It's some of these guys are probably hoping for a caution.
Well, we're 36 laps in here green. The number to remember is lap 50. After lap 50, you will not get the wave around. So if you go a lap down, you're going to have to earn it back the hard way after lap 50, just 13 laps away. And that is what's ramped up the energy and the pressure here on Lassiter, Crow, and Haight. Haight coming off the win last week, now in 13th, in threat of going down a lap.
Yeah, and you can see, man, it's these guys are ticking back, and hard charger right now, that's 7th position. Colin Voil's up 9 spots. It's rare that we see a guy approaching that, let alone get to double digits improvement. So Aiden Young also shaking off that damage from earlier, up 7 spots. So like what I'm seeing right now from some of these guys is it's intense racing 40% of the way through it.
You can see Crow trying to get his lap back, unable to do so yet, as Combs will stay up ahead of him. As now Lassiter will jump down to the inside, try to move past Haight, as he's been able to move up with the leaders thus far here. Now 41 laps. We're getting closer and closer to halfway here. All green from Fairbury. Go back in the pack, middle of the pack, just up ahead of the leaders. You've got Cody Early battling with Aiden Young. That's for a top 10 position. Oh, and you see contact with the leader, Lassiter.
Ooh!
Leader will get pinched down.
Oh!
Second place, too far back. Dylan Perry a second back. As now Lassiter trying everything he can to hang on to that lead lap.
Oh, they're banging sheet metal all around right now, but they're able to fan back out, and man, it is crowded. And one thing that's underrated, well, we don't have the driver's perspective of right now, that in-car view, when they're headed right towards the sunset, that's brutal, man. That is brutal.
See that group of cars right up ahead of the leaders not calming down at all at this point, as Lassiter, and there's contact up ahead.
Oh!
Early goes around.
Oh!
Big damage for the 3 there on lap number 46, right before the halfway mark.
And you knew the race reaper was gonna strike, and always at the worst time. And man, if it's anything like this week, he is not done. Still halfway to go in this race, and there is debris on the ground.
All the tires have stayed on here, as you see Kenny Haight working his way around. And you can see the damage to the sheet metal there. I had a shop teacher, Mr. Garrison, back in high school.
Yeah.
Love to roll out some sheet metal as they'll go into the working area trying to repair these cars here. As first caution comes out on lap number 47, 53 laps to go here in this Illinois Dirt Classic presented by Combs Cuts.
Yeah, you always talked about that, teacher. I wonder, I hope he's doing all right. I know there was that pending lawsuit, but I think he got it cleared.
So we'll get them lined back up here on lap number 47. It is Brandon Bender out here, out front. We'll see how this second half of this Illinois Dirt Classic plays out. You see Hicks down to the inside. Trying to cool off his tires here. Is 47 laps here to start this one, all under green. The way to do it here for this year's 5th annual Illinois Dirt Classic from Fairbury Speedway. lights should go off that pace truck this time by. Not this time by. We'll go one more lap. Green flag waves as Combs and Perry lead us back to green. DC Smith's the only one. He's off the track. Everyone else now back on the lead lap here. 17 cars still out there on the track here as we cross for lap number 48.
And it looks like, oh, caution comes out once again. Pace truck already racing to get there.
Cody Early. Oh, Jason Crow upside down over there.
Ruh-roh.
As he and Cody Early will make their way to the work area as we've crossed the halfway mark here on lap number 54. As we'll get them lined back up 2 by 2 here at Fairbury Speedway as it's the Illinois Dirt Classic presented by Combs Cuts. Green flag waves working lap number 54 here at Fairbury. 2x2. It's still Brandon Combs out front. Dylan Perry in second. Bender, Hicks, and Bowman now up into the top 5. As Bowman will fall back on the restart. And Dylan Perry will take over the lead here on lap 55. Oh, caution flag will come out. It's Tyler Bowman. As he will have issues, we'll get lined back up. As Dylan Perry now your leader. Combs in second. Hicks in third. As we'll get lined back up here, 56 laps down of this 100 Illinois Dirt Classic presented by Combs Cuts tonight. As Dylan Perry, Brandon Combs will lead us back to green. Still 2x2, cleaning up some of the track damage and car damage out on the track. Green flag waves, Dylan Perry out front. You can see the gaggle of cars behind him. They're getting stacked up behind Combs. As Combs will pull a slide job there. Perry back to the inside as he'll take over the lead. Fourth on back, very tightly contested, starting with the Brandon Bender machine.
Oh yeah, Aiden Young also up to 8th, 10 spots up. A rare hard charger double digits is he may lose a little bit of ground right there.
So plenty of racing action. Combs still trying to battle back down the inside of Dylan Perry now. No, she had 61 laps in now. Still Dylan Perry. It's gotten single file here. As we've gotten to that point of the race where they start to settle in. We have had a couple cautions here tonight. As you can see, Lassiter still back there in the pack. He's moved up now into the 10th position, so he's chipping away, making his way up towards the front. You've got to think he's been conserving tires as he's running one of the slower laps right now, seeing what he can save. But now it's that question, Adam, of when is it time to go towards the front? So Perry continues to lead. You can see they've stepped up front. So Dylan Perry continues to lead Brandon Combs here, 67 laps in of 100 laps. As you can see them using the high line as they've separated. Tyler Bowman, a good run for him. He's back into third spot as that's where the train continues. So there's all the forecasts.
Yeah, and it looks like Perry, as much to the chagrin of the rest of the field, Perry is back to the top spot, and Brandon Combs, he's had his fair share of battles against Dylan Perry. He could very well do it once again.
There it is. So Tyler Bowman riding in that third spot. Go back to Brandon Marlowe. This battle around the top 10 continues to be heated, and right there is Jacob Lassiter caught up all in it again. As the caution flag will wave, Jacob Lassiter involved in this one. Dylan Perry will hold on to the lead. Our fourth caution of the night is we've got 25 laps to go when we go back to green here on Extreme eSpeed TV. As we go back to green, Dylan Perry leads us. Combs now under attack from Bowman. Bowman's great run continues here as he's already up to third. Now he's looking for more on this latest restart. Oh, and he makes contact with John Hine into the wall. They still hit, turning out a 4. Evan Hinkle involved now, and they'll keep it going straight. What a battle there. Oh, and now it's Kendrick Hicks in the wall. There's John Hine in the wall as well. Just too much, and there's that tire for Mr. Garrison flying off down the backstretch. 5th caution of the night, 25 laps to go, with Dylan Perry your leader. As we'll go back to green this time by Dylan Perry leads out front, looking for another victory here with the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Brandon Combs, though, these two did battle throughout 2023, which was exciting to watch. As the caution flag will wave. Looking at who it might be, Evan Hinkle this time, as our 6th caution flag comes out of the night. Green flag waves, Dylan Perry holding on to the lead out front. You can see Combs down to the inside. Combs out front. Caution flag will wave. It looks like Joshua Johnson, Colin Voiles issues this time. Very quickly, we're up to 7 cautions here with what will be 21 laps to go. Green flag waves. 21 laps to go as Dylan Perry's out front. You can see 4th on back, still chaos as Swanee will go around in 2, and that will bring out the caution for the 8th time. "20 laps to go now here of this 100-lap Fairbury, Illinois Dirt Classic presented by Combs Cuts. Dylan Perry's been out front for a majority of the second half here. As you can see, up along the wall is the place to be. All single file here. We've had a few cautions the last 25-30 laps, even with drivers trying to count down some laps and get it down towards that pay window. Out front, though, it's still Dylan Perry, our 2-time champion.
Yeah, and you can just see the dirt on those cars. It has been a battle already. Like you said, not often we do 100 laps, but we're doing it tonight, and we're getting closer to that 15 to go, and that's where normally Perry is the kind of one that lays in the weeds, but I think the strategy he's had tonight, and we can talk to him if he finishes on the podium, I think his strategy is really to be at the forefront, right? And I think he doesn't want to have to fight hard at the end. There's tire wear for all these drivers, and I tell you what, if he stays like this, and I think he's just staying a nose in front of Combs, he could be caution coming out. He could be our winner.
So 15 laps to go here with our 9th caution of the night. We'll get them lined back up and ready to go. Green flag waves. Dylan Perry out front. Brandon Combs, Bowman, Young, and Bender make up that top 5 still here as we're coming down to the end of the Illinois Dirt Classic here at Fairbury. So we're still single file here now, 9 laps to go at Fairbury. Dylan Perry looking to another victory here in the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. So the caution flag waves again. Joshua Johnson, Evan Hinkle, Colin Voiles currently in the work area. We have 12 cars on the lead lap. Green flag waves, we're back to racing action. Single digits here now. 8 laps to go as Combs is going to look to the inside of Perry down the backstretch.
Where are all
As Combs will pull ahead here through 3 and 4. He'll slide up in front of Dylan Perry, see if it'll stick. It won't. Perry battles back on the inside. Perry will lead now 5 laps to go here in the Illinois Dirt Classic. Side by side here, coming to 2 laps to go. Combs still trying to make it work, and now Bowman enters his name into the hat as well as he watches from the 3rd place.
Oh, Combs and Perry back and forth, 2 to go. Combs, could he actually steal one from Perry? Oh, Perry's going to make it hard. Last lap.
Final lap, it's Dylan Perry out front. Combs is battling over as they'll cross over on the exit of turn number 2. Bowman watches on from 3rd. They'll go through 3 and 4 for the final time. It's Brandon Combs out front. At the line, it's Brandon Combs! 2/100ths of a second.
And Perry into the air.
What a finish. Brandon Combs will get in front of Dylan Perry. 2/100ths of a second. Tyler Bowman coming home 3rd. A phenomenal finish here at Fairbury tonight.
Might be the closest finish in series history. I want to make sure the records go. Oh, you see the 64 just losing his mind there at the top of your screen, but wow. might be one of the fastest, closest finishes we've ever seen.
And someone we missed out on, Adam, our Buttkicker Hard Charger Award go to Aiden Young. He comes home fourth, up 14 spots from his starting spot. He started at the rear, comes away with a top 5 finish. And just like that, we're going to talk to our top 3 drivers here from Fairbury. So waiting for Bowman, Perry, and Combs to join us up here in the booth. So great finish to the night here at Fairbury. As the Illinois Dirt Classic will come to an end, and it looks like we've got some of the drivers. Adam, I'll throw it down to you. You've got our 3rd place finisher. It's Tyler Bowman.
That's right, Tyler. One of the craziest finishes we've seen. I don't think he's... That's right, joined by our 3rd place finisher, Tyler Bowman. And Tyler, man, from our perspective, that's one of the craziest races of the season. It was a long one, but in gut feeling right after this race, how are you feeling?
Kind of ecstatic. I mean, watching the 2 best probably in this league go at it and just sitting there waiting for basically an opening. I was just kind of just on the edge of my seat, just praying that we weren't going to all wad each other up there at the end.
Yeah, and we haven't been able to see you during all the races this season, but you got to think a performance like that kind of reminds you that you can hang with the big dogs. You are one of the big dogs. Does it get you ready and fired up to rejoin us? I think back in May when the racing resumes.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had some master classes that conflict with the schedule this season, so I was able to run this race tonight, and I mean, it was a huge confidence booster. I think this is my best finish, I think, so it's really exciting.
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, hopefully we get to talk to you again soon, but before that, I want to give you a chance to shout out some of those partners that we may not be as familiar with.
I first want to thank Dylan Perry for basically guiding me, teaching me everything he knows, and everybody at CBR, especially Combs. He teaches me a bunch of stuff along with Perry. So it's been a great time just being able to be a part of the team, and just hopefully we get some more this season.
Awesome. Well, congrats once again on a heck of a finish, and we hope to talk to you again on the podium very soon.
Thank you.
That's Tyler Bowman, our 3rd place finisher, now joining us up in the booth as our 2nd place finisher. It's Dylan Perry. Dylan, not much to say there. Walk us through those final 5 laps here at Fairbury.
Well, other than trying to catch my breath, that was a heck of a race between me and Combs. We don't get to throw haymakers like that very often, but when we do, I feel like we put on a pretty dang good show for everybody, and that was a lot of fun.
So we had those cautions there the second half of the race, and then finally that last few lap shootout that you had there. When you saw Brandon finally press go and try to make a move on you, what were you trying to do as you guys continued to cross over back and forth?
Mainly whenever we kept throwing good sliders, I just knew I needed to keep my straightaway speed up so that we could stay in that rhythm of who's going to mess up first. And neither one of us messed up, so that's why it came down to like a .02 or .03 finish right there at the end. But that was very enjoyable.
Well, a great night. You come home second, another podium finish here as you just fall short for the victory. Who are those people and those sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, I always got to thank Andy Piercefield and his whole family for everything that they do for me on here and in real life. They're a tremendous help, and I definitely couldn't do it without them. Evans Air Conditioning, you guys over at Extreme eSpeed, Piercefield Media Group, CBR Race Cars, Harrison Automotive, CV Used Cars and Parts, Newt's Lawn Care, MSW Construction, DPR, SHP Mafia, Coyote Media, Goat Farm Posse, FHP, all the guys that are at Chip Bangers Racing helping me week in and week out. Combs Cuts, Brandon Combs, congrats on the win on that one. B&B Custom Baits, BPRC, just everybody that helps me week in and week out, and just couldn't do it without them.
Well, congratulations, Dylan. We look forward to seeing you again in May.
Sounds good.
That's Dylan Perry, our second place finisher tonight. Now in victory lane with Adam, it's our winner, Brandon Combs.
That's right, joined by Brandon Combs. And Brandon, man, another win this season. I mean, we'll talk about the finish in a moment, but what is clicking for you this year?
I honestly don't know. Just everything's firing on all 8 cylinders, and it seems that a lot of things that I was messing up with the last couple seasons, I'm not really messing them up yet so far this season, but it's been good. It's been fun. I'm just going to keep riding this wave and hopefully keep having some good runs and hopefully can get back in the points game.
Absolutely, and we will talk about that finish now. And at the moment, I mean, that might be .02 might be the closest finish we've ever had in this series history. You took a dive down and almost, from the viewer's perspective, it was like, you know what, screw it, we're going to try and just dive bomb and see if we can hold on and grip it to the finish line. One, was that the strategy? And two, did you think at the line that you did finish first?
Yeah, that was the strategy. I mean, I didn't really know what else to really try to do to get past Perry because he's just so good on the top and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And I just had to try to find any way I could to get a run on him. And it just seemed that off at 2, I was able to at least break even and then take the chance of throwing the big slider and trying to just slow his momentum up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that was the game plan. After he got by me, and that was a heck of a race. That was a lot of fun, and it's a ton of fun when you can race with guys and not have to worry about getting fenced, getting beat up or anything like it. And it's it's a lot of fun racing with him and being able to throw those sliders back and forth. And I was shaking a little bit when I went across the line because I was like, "That's close. I don't know if I got it." And then it changed. I got P1, he got P2, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh."
How did you? I mean, 100 laps. It's not often we get a 100 lapper in this series, and with your car, did you feel like, would we have had that same result if this was only 50 laps, or if you added 25 more laps? I mean, was 100 really the perfect sweet spot for the car you had tonight?
I think 100 laps was really good for this racetrack because it started out early in the night where if it was probably just a 50 lap race, it would have never got to the top till about lap 30, 40 or so. And the top was you were just able to momentum it. And once we burnt more laps in through the middle and stuff, it was harder to throw them sliders and be able to race and throw sliders. But I thought 100 laps was a good race for here. I know in the past we've done like 50, 75, and 60 and stuff. And I think 100 was the right call for this race. And it was a lot of fun behind the driver's seat. I mean, we had guys trying to save some tires, and I was running up and about to lap some of them. And I wasn't really running the car too hard. I think it was just being in clean air and just being able to just be patient and keep the car straight kind of helped out more than anything. But once Perry got back by me, I knew I had my work cut out, that's for sure.
Awesome. Well, congrats once again, man. Heck of a race. Thanks for putting on a show tonight. Before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to thank those partners.
Yeah, I just got to say thanks to Dean Reynolds over at Super Dark Car Series. Dylan for giving me the wrap. Big Pimpin' Race Cars by DPR. Chip Bangers Racing, FHP Consultant, B&B Custom Baits, Combs Cuts, Phantom Race Engines, Dirt Chasers, Zero FG, GFP, Cobber Combs Fan Club, and Cody for giving us a league to come race and have some fun. And I hope the fans enjoyed it because I think behind the wheel that might have been one of the most exciting Pro Late Model Dirt Series races and probably the closest finish that this league's had. And I appreciate you guys putting the broadcast on over at Extreme Speed TV and all the guys for everything that they do behind the scenes. And I'd just like to give a shout out to Perry. I know he was really wanting that win for that crown jewel deal, but I was really wanting to win too here finally and was able to finally get it. And that was a lot of fun. And I got to say, good run to Tyler Bowman as well, another Chip Bangers Racing guy that was able to get the third. So it's pretty cool to have 3 of them and on the podium.
Well, there you go, your winner. Congrats again, Brandon. Our first place winner from the Illinois Dirt Classic.
So Brandon Combs will come away a winner tonight. Dylan Perry second, Tyler Bowman third. Aiden Young, our Buttkicker hard charger. In fourth, up 14 spots, Brendan Bender. In fifth, Tyler Benefield, our best finishing rookie. In sixth, Kendrick Hicks, John Hine, Jason Crow, and Brandon Marlowe will round out our top 10 here from Fairbury in the Illinois Dirt Classic presented by Combs Cuts. And with that, we will head off into a break here. We'll be back in May for more racing action. We always enjoy you tuning in with us here on Extreme eSpeed TV, and we hope to see you back at a racetrack again soon.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.